welcome back. Today we are doing a really exciting video. We are making two different types of crepes today. So I'm going to show you how to make ham and cheese crepes, and then I'm also going to show you how to make strawberry cream crepes. So the first thing we're going to do is make our batter. So to make the batter, what we need is 2 eggs, 1 cup of flour, 3/4 cups of milk, half a cup of water, and 3 tablespoons of melted butter. So that's what we're gonna do first. Let's get started. It's really simple. We're gonna beat together the eggs, flour, milk, water, and butter until it's combined. So I've done a couple things ahead of time. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the eggs into this small bowl, and then I'm going to put them into my large bowl. Again, I do this so that I don't have any shells. So there's 1, there's 2. So there's my 2 eggs, and I'm just going to put them in my large bowl here. And then I'm going to put this aside. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to put in is the milk, and we need 3/4 cups of milk. So I've just got my 1/4 measuring cup here, and I'm going to measure 3 of those. Normally I would use a liquid measuring cup, but that's being used at the moment. So there's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Perfect. Okay, so there's that. And I have actually gone ahead and already melted 3 tablespoons of butter. So again, we've gone over this. If you get little sticks of butter, often it will have little measurements for you to follow. So try your best to measure out 3 tablespoons of butter and make sure it's melted in the microwave. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Okay. Now I'm going to add my half a cup of water. So I've gone ahead and measured out half a cup of water, and we're going to pour that into our bowl as well. Okay. So I've got all my liquid ingredients, and I'm actually just going to whisk them up with a whisk before we add the flour. Okay. So we need 1 cup of flour for this recipe. So just over here, you may not be able to see it, but I'm just going to scoop flour into my 1 cup measuring cup here. And I'm going to level it off with my knife and then put that in here. And again, I'm going to mix it till it's all mixed together nicely. So I'm doing this with a whisk. You can use beaters if you'd like, but I think a whisk is fine. Just try and make sure there's no lumps in it. So whisk it really good. And that looks good. I'm just gonna whisk it a tiny bit more. Get rid of, okay, so my lumps are pretty much almost gone. Okay, so that's mixed together nicely. There's no lumps, and that's perfect. So what I need you to do now is put this in the fridge for 30 minutes. So go ahead and put this in the fridge for half an hour, and then we are going to move on to our next step. Okay, everyone, so as my batter is in the fridge, I am actually going to prep for my sweet crepes. So if you are planning on making the ham and cheese crepes, feel free to skip this part. So feel free to fast forward the video straight to the ham and cheese part. So you might have to play around with it to find exactly where it is. But if you're making the strawberry and cream crepes, feel free to watch this part. But if you're making the ham and cheese, feel free to skip if you need to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and actually prep my strawberries for my crepes. So again, I'm just going to cut off the tops here. I cut through the middle. And I cut into slices. Please watch your fingers as you're doing this. So I just have one package of strawberries here. This recipe technically calls for 4 cups of strawberries, but that's a lot. It just kind of depends how much filling you'd like to make, because basically the more strawberries you cut, the more filling you're gonna have for your crepes. So kind of use your judgment. I'm maybe going to do, because I'm making 2 kinds of crepes today, I am probably just going to do maybe half of this package here. But if you're making crepes for your entire family, I would go ahead and use the full container and use the full 4 cups. But it's just because I'm making 2 kinds of crepes today to show you. So I don't need as many as you might need. So I'm just kind of cutting my strawberries kind of small. So I'm not gonna do too many more here. Maybe 1 more. Perfect. So again, if you're making this for your whole family, definitely use a whole package of strawberries. The only reason I'm gonna use half is because I'm making 2 kinds of crepes, so I don't need as many. Okay, so that is how many strawberries I'm using. But feel free to continue and cut your entire package of strawberries. So in this next part here, I'm gonna clear away the strawberries here. I'm gonna go ahead and put these aside. And the next step of this is we are going to make the rest of the filling for our sweet crepes. Okay everyone, so this is the next step of our sweet crepes recipe. So for this part, you're going to need 1 package of cream cheese. You're going to need icing sugar. You're gonna need lemon juice, the zest of a lemon, vanilla, and then you're gonna need your strawberries and then whipping cream. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're gonna need 1 package of cream cheese here. So again, because I used less strawberries, it's gonna make a lot of filling for me, but that's okay. I'm gonna make the same amount of filling as you guys. Okay, so 1 package of cream cheese is in the bowl. So we're actually gonna beat this with our icing sugar, but I'm gonna actually beat this a tiny bit first. I believe I did this with another recipe as well. I just find it reduces the amount of spillage you get. And then we're gonna need 1 1/4 cups of icing sugar. So I'm just gonna put this here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop out icing sugar here. 1 1/4 cup. So here's my 1 cup. Okay, so there's 1 cup in my bowl. And now I need 1/4 cup. Okay, so there's my 1/4 cup. So I'm going to put this aside. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. If you'd like, you can use fresh lemon juice. I'm just going to use the pre-made lemon juice that I have in my fridge. So there's 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. If you're looking for an easier crepe recipe, I would definitely say that the ham and cheese crepes are much easier, but this is a really good experience. And if you're looking for something more challenging, I would definitely try these sweet crepes. Okay, so now we are going to put 1 teaspoon of grated lemon zest in here. So I've just got a cutting board here and my lemon zest. And I'm actually going to grate it finely. So I'm picking a small grater. One teaspoon is basically a whole lemon zested. Okay, almost done. Okay. So as you can see, I've grated it very fine, like that. And I'm actually just gonna put it in my bowl here. I'm gonna pour everything here, just like that. Okay. The next thing we need to put in our bowl here is 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. So take your 1/2 teaspoon measuring spoon here, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla in the same bowl. Okay, so now we have our cream cheese, our icing sugar, lemon juice, lemon zest, and vanilla in our bowl. And we are just going to beat this until it's smooth. Okay, so it's pretty smooth, but I'm actually just gonna grab a spatula and scrape down the sides of my bowl. Okay. Okay, so that looks really nice and smooth. So the next part of this recipe is going to be making the heavy whipping cream. Okay, so I will show you how to do this. But if you'd like, you can just go ahead and measure out 1 cup of this whipping cream and whip it up until it makes a whipped cream texture, okay? So you can go ahead and do that, or I can show you how to do this. I will try and video it to show you the process. And then we're gonna go ahead and finish off our filling for our sweet crepes. Okay, so I'm just going to whip up my heavy whipping cream. So I've got heavy whipping cream here, and I'm gonna measure out 1 cup. 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Perfect. So I'm just gonna put that in my bowl here. So this part may take a long time. You're just basically going to beat this until it resembles whipped cream. Okay, so as you can see, after a couple minutes of beating, it is basically like a whipped cream texture. I'm just gonna beat it a tiny bit more, and then we're gonna finish off this recipe. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, that is what I'm left with. I am left with a really nice whipped cream. Okay, so I'm going to need you to grab your bowl that has your cream cheese in it, and then go ahead and grab your strawberries as well. Okay, so now we're basically going to put this all together. So I'm going to put my strawberries in here. And I'm going to put my whipped cream in here. And we're going to go ahead using a spatula and just fold these together. Folding is when you go up under and over. Under and over. It's basically a gentle mixing style. So please, when you do this, be really careful and gentle. Okay, so just keep folding it until you think it's nicely combined. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so the next step of this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare our ham and cheese crepes. That's going to be very quick and simple, and then I'm going to show you how to actually make the crepes on the stove. Okay, so if you skipped the first half of this video to make the ham and cheese crepes, you've come to the right place. If you've watched the whole video so far, you'll know after we do this step that this is the easier crepe to make. The ham and cheese crepes don't need a lot of prep, don't need a lot of ingredients. The only thing you do need to do is make the batter that we made at the very beginning of the video, and then you need to do this step here, which is very quick and simple. All you need is your choice of ham. So I have chosen Black Forest ham, and it is already sliced for me. So I can just put that aside. And then the cheese I'm using mozzarella cheese. And the only thing you need to do here is decide whether you want to grate your cheese or cut your cheese. I'm gonna cut mine into thin slices. So I'm gonna do that now. If you're making crepes for your whole family, kind of use whatever you think you're gonna need for cheese. I would start by cutting maybe 6 to 8 slices, and then you can always cut more if you need it. But because I'm not making a lot of ham and cheese crepes, I'm gonna cut, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 slices, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And if I need more, I can just cut more later on. So the next step of this video, I'm gonna show you how to actually make the crepe, and then we're going to build the crepe as well. Okay, it's time to actually start building our crepes. So I have my stove on low, and I have sprayed my pan with Pam. You can also put a little bit of butter in the bottom to make sure that your batter does not stick to the bottom of your pan. So go ahead and grab your batter from the fridge. We are just going to, using a ladle here, you are going to pour a little bit into your pan. Using this ladle, we are going to spread it out nice and thin so that it covers the bottom of the pan. I'm going to go like this as well to make sure that it's going to get all the way around. We are going to let this cook roughly a minute on each side. I'm just going to add a touch here. On a spot that broke. So this part is going to be the most challenging of the recipe, and it's going to be challenging for me as well. So if it doesn't work the first couple times, don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. So once this has cooked for about a minute, we need to actually flip this over so that we can cook it on the other side as well. So I'm using a spatula, and very gently I'm going to flip this over. Very gently. Perfect. Okay, so you want this really nice golden brown texture on the top. So on hand, I have my mozzarella cheese. I'm just gonna put 2 sticks of cheese on 1/2. And I am going to fold up 2 slices of ham as well. I'm going to just gently fold this over once it's done. I'm going to cover this to let the cheese melt. And then once it's melted, we're going to fold up our crepe. We're going to fold it in half. And then it's going to be basically ready to serve. But you basically just want to let the cheese melt. So keep it on your stove until the cheese is totally melted. And then we're going to fold our crepe in half. And then it's going to be ready to serve. So our cheese is almost melted. So as soon as this is melted, come back and then we're gonna go ahead and flip it over. Okay, so my cheese is pretty nicely melted here. What I've done is I have just sandwiched over 1/2 of my crepe. So I've flipped it over to one side and now it looks like a bit of a sandwich. And just go ahead and carefully remove it from your pan, and it's actually ready to serve just like this. So in the next part of this video, I'm gonna show you how to make the strawberry crepes, okay? But if you're gonna continue to make the ham and cheese crepes, go ahead and continue the exact same process that we did and continue to do that until all of your filling and batter is used up. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and make the strawberry crepes, which are actually a bit easier because you don't need to put the filling on in the pan here. But in case you wanted to know what the ham and cheese crepe looked like close up, here we go. We've got really beautiful melted cheese there and ham, so that is ready to be eaten. Okay, so for the strawberry crepes, you're gonna do the same thing. You're going to put in a little bit of batter in your pan. And I'm actually just gonna go like this instead of using my ladle because I find it doesn't break as easy. So I'm just gonna swirl it around in my pan like that. Feel free to do this or feel free to make a ladle. Do it with a ladle. Okay, so like I said, the strawberry crepes are a little bit easier to make on the stove because all you need to make on the stove here is actually the crepe part here, and then we're actually going to add our filling after we're done making all of these, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. But definitely the most tricky part of this recipe is actually flipping the crepes over. It's very difficult to do. So you may want to get your parent or guardian to help you with that, and that's perfectly okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna check the bottoms here. I have a very big spatula that I'm using. Using a little one might give you a bit more control. Okay, but go ahead and flip your crepe over. Just like that, and you're just gonna let it cook for another minute. So what I'm gonna get you to do on your own now is continue to do this. Make your little crepes and put them on a plate once they're done. So for example, I'm gonna grab a plate here. As soon as this is completely done cooking, I'm just gonna put them all on a plate. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make the actual crepes here. And then we are going to go ahead and add our strawberry filling. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off here gently. Or actually, what might be easier to do, slide it onto your plate like that. Continue to make these crepes, and then I'm going to show you how to build your strawberry crepes. Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys how to build your crepes. So you're going to grab your strawberry filling put it on one side of the crepe. And then you're actually just gonna roll it up like this. And then you're gonna take a little bit of powdered sugar and just sprinkle it on top. Like that. So there you are. There are your ham and cheese and strawberry cream crepes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Send me pictures of what you made, and I'll see you next time.